Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you have joined us, and welcome to the latest in the Pitman Perspective series webinar, Unlock Your Potential in Analytics, where our panelists will be discussing how to unlock your career potential in the exciting field of data analysts. I am Rehan Mehar, Head of Marketing at Pitman Training. So a little bit about Pitman Training. Pitman Training has been one of the world's leading skills training providers for 187 years, with over 80 Pitman training centers globally, with the Kenya Center here in Westlands, Nairobi. So we train thousands of students globally across 9 different categories of in-demand office-based skills across Microsoft Office, Sage Accounting and Bookkeeping, IT software and development, business management and leadership skills, marketing, data analytics, personal development, just to name a few. We offer over 55 diplomas and 200 individual courses, all of which are backed up by 16 global certifications and accreditations, including the CPD Office, Continuous Professional Development. All of this is delivered within a framework of a truly blended and flexible learning experience, which is bolstered by a strong student support system by our trained learning coaches. We are particularly proud of the work we have done in transforming the careers of many Kenyan professionals and their lives. Now, I am honored to introduce our 3 panelists today. We'll start off with Billy Otieno. Billy Otieno is from Oracle. He is a passionate technology and analytics professional with over 7 years of experience in technology, having worked in software engineering, data science, consulting, and solutions engineering. And this is covering a wide range of tech domains across different sectors. And he takes pride in enabling clients to unlock significant value through technology, analytics, data, and now AI, and supporting organizations through their digital transformation journey. He is also a founding member of the Data Analytics, which is a fast-growing community of data analytics and AI practitioners and leaders across East Africa. Next up is Jadida Ochieng. She is a senior business analyst at APSA Kenya PLC. She has a bachelor's degree and certifications in AWS, Power BI, and data science. She has unified reporting across multiple African countries, thereby boosting accuracy and efficiency. She is skilled in Tableau, SQL, Python, and excels in translating complex data into actionable insights, thereby driving decision-making and organizational success. She is passionate about continuous learning and mentorship. Lastly, Brian Mwandao is a self-taught data scientist with over 8 years of experience in data analytics. Thereby, he's got privilege of contributing to multiple industries and sectors and organizations, such as CBK as an Oracle consultant, the NCBA Group, VSO International, amongst others. He is currently serving as a senior data analyst at Sanko, a social enterprise which is on a mission to combat malnutrition in Africa. He has a bachelor's and a master's degree and has mentored hundreds of aspiring data scientists and analysts in their quest to build a career in this exciting field. Now, an interesting fact is that all the 3 panelists started their careers in data analysis around pretty much the same time and are members of the data analytics community of Kenya. And they also provide mentorship to upcoming data analysts. So all of you, Brian, Jadida, and Billy, all of you are welcome, and I hope my introduction did justice to you guys.
Thank you, Rehan. I mean, that was a very packed introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess, guys, we've had a lot of questions coming in from our attendees, right? And we'll try to answer as many as possible within the time we have. And to our honored attendees, if you have any questions during the webinar, please drop them in using the QA function, the question and answer function, or the chat function, and we'll try to answer as many as possible within the time we have. So I guess the interesting thing here is that data has become the buzzword in our lives now, right? And professionals who know how to handle data, how to clean it, how to interpret it, right? And to make sense of the patterns that are existing and what comes up are becoming more and more valuable and in demand right now, right? So every company, organization, and sector is collecting data on its customers and processes, and this has become a very vital business operational function. And this is where data analysts and data scientists come in. Their role is to make sense of the huge volume of data generated so that businesses and organizations can make data-driven decisions for the benefit of the customers and, of course, the organizations themselves, right? So based on this, a question that we get a lot is that what is the difference between data analysts and data scientists? Billy, I'll open this up to you.
Thank you, Rehan. I think, first of all, I just want to welcome everybody who's joining us from wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for taking time to join us today. Now, Rehan, you've just raised a very pertinent question that's common across, something that I always receive most of the time. In my simplistic perspective, what I think the difference ideally is in terms of the tooling as well, in terms of the tooling and the general goal. Yeah. So data analyst is more focusing on sort of delivering insights to the business so that the business can act on it. Yeah. So general idea is moving from data collection to preparation to cleaning and making sure you have some insights that you're delivering to business to make the business decisions out of. So ideally, it's the same thing that the data scientist does. However, the data scientist goes more on an advanced level. Yeah. So in terms of techniques and approaches. Yeah. So data analyst might probably use SQL and R and maybe Excel to do that kind of work and deliver actionable insights to business. But a data scientist, now here we're talking about large amounts of data. So dealing with big data, dealing with sophisticated techniques. So we're talking about deeper statistical analysis. Things, for example, you using tools like Python and R. So this is where now you're required to do a lot of querying and engineering stuff. And the general idea is the techniques move from doing descriptive to doing prescriptive and prescriptive and predictive analytics. So predictive is where, if you look at an analyst in the maturity curve, so descriptive is asking you want to find out what happened. Yeah. So for example, why did my sales sort of drop? Yeah. Then I want to drill down. I want to do sort of diagnostic. Yeah. I want to find out, for example, what if I do this, if I drill down, what exactly are the actual root causes of my sales dropping? Yeah. So that's descriptive and diagnostic. So that's the main domain of an analyst. Then broader, when you move to predictive and prescriptive, that's where now the data scientist plays mostly in that particular domain. So that's how I think of the differences between the two. I'll probably take it over to Jadida and Brian to add on top of that. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Billy. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I can see you are quite a number. Nice to see you. So yes, I think Rehan did the introduction justice. So my name is Jadida, but I'm rebranding to Jedi. Yeah, happy to see you all. So for me, I'm a data analyst. I've also worked in the capacity of a data scientist in my previous roles. And what I can say, and I think Billy has already mentioned, is that the biggest difference between an analyst and a data scientist is the tooling that you're using to deliver value for the organization. And what do I mean by that? So you can get that like for a data analyst, you'll be dealing with tools like SQL, the structured query language. You'd be using Excel, depending on the company and the maturity of the company. You'd also, as an analyst, you'd also use some tools like Nime for just quick data analysis. You'd also be using tools like Tableau for data visualization, or Power BI for data visualization as well, or any other tool that revolves around visualizations and getting your data. So the other big thing about a data analyst is that you're the person who is marrying business to the data and vice versa. So if business wants to see a report that maybe says that gives them approximately on a month-on-month basis how much revenue is the business getting. So you'll get that the analyst is the one who's going to collect those requirements, probably put them in a BRD, a business requirement document, then get the data or sit with a data engineer, understand the availability of the data, then now come up with a report for the business. So you'll be the person getting the requirements for the business, developing the report, and also showcasing to the business. Then for the data scientist, also depending on the maturity level of the company or the structure of the data office, a data scientist will deal with different tools like R. They'll deal with tools like Python. They'll deal with tools like Jupyter Notebooks for data analysis, or Google Columns as well. So depending on the tooling, that's how you will derive the specific day-to-day of an analyst and data scientist. So yeah, that's my definition based on the experience I've had over a period of time. And yes, I think I can hand it over to Brian for his input as well. Thanks.
I think you've both captured it quite well. I don't know if there's anything I could add. But yeah, just to emphasize on the point that I think for data science, it's a bit programming heavy. You need like slightly more skills. So for example, like you don't need to just have the basics programming of Python. You need to be very good at Python because the challenges at that level are unique. And remember, actually for any of these roles, you're actually helping senior management to make decisions. So you need to have, it's like you just need to have a couple of tools that will help you navigate in whatever type of problem that you're trying to solve. So you need to be good at things like Git, some like it's just more programming heavy as opposed to a data analyst where the main requirement is SQL, and then the rest are just visualization tools like Power BI, Excel, Tableau, and the likes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, guys. So I think what you've done is very helpful, is to actually clarify the difference between data scientist, data analyst, and and just give us a very good idea and inkling on what are the tools that we require to get into the field. So what I want to do is to backtrack a little bit, right? Because even Jadida and even yourself, Brian, you give us an understanding of what do they what is that they actually do, the data analysts do. So I think could you give us a more understanding of what does a data analyst exactly do for a business and for an organization, so that it's very clear to our audience over here today.
Okay, so a data analyst. So the whole point, and I think Billy mentioned it already, is to try and explain what is happening in the data. You know, data is such a valuable tool that most organizations have, but don't know how best to leverage. So that's where the data analyst comes into place. Yeah. So we've heard of descriptive statistics. So you're trying to describe what is happening in the organization and trying to answer the question why, So that's where the actual data analyst comes. Like you need to sit with the business teams. I usually tell some of the people I mentor that you need to be wearing like 3 hats at the same time. One is the computer programming skills. The second one is the business acumen, which is basically your domain, and the third one is more or less mathematics. Yeah, so you need to be able to really understand the business almost as much as the business owner. So whatever, for example, department you're trying to work with, let's say if it's marketing, they want to know how can we whatever type of question they might have. Yeah, so you need to sit down with the product manager, the business stakeholder, in order to understand whatever problems that they would like answered. And then the next step is now for you to use your skills, the ones that you've learned, to try to answer those questions in the most effective way. Yeah, and yeah, that would involve a bit of, for example, extracting data from, let's say, databases, and that is where the SQL comes in. And then you have all your data, but now you need to organize it. You need to clean it up. So you can do that with SQL. You can do that with Python. I think Power BI and Tableau also does that quite well. And then after you organize it in that format that you actually want, now you try to create visuals that can easily explain what is happening in the data. Yeah. Sometimes it might also involve you doing a bit of statistical analysis. Actually, people don't know that some of these graphs generated actually do a bit of statistics in the background. So I think like the whole point is, can you create insights that are actionable? But then that's the whole point. Like, can the organization action on some items? Can they move forward based on the analysis that you've done? Yeah, and that's the whole point. And yeah, so you just need a blend of all these skills in order to drive the business forward. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that you need three key things here. A, you need programming knowledge. That's a given. You need to have good maths background, right? That you can actually crunch the numbers. And you need to have business acumen as a data analyst so that businesses can actually, so you can glean the insights from the data that you've gathered and then help the senior stakeholders and whoever they are within a business to make data-driven decisions based from what
Exactly.
you have, the patterns you've interpreted from there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jadid, I've got an interesting one for you. A lot of the questions that we've gotten out here, right, are career based. For example, how do I get into the role of a data analyst? How do I transition into the field of data analysts? Because a lot of people who are financial analysts, who have got absolutely no idea about data analysts, so for example, are in marketing or maybe in an NGO. How do they transition into the field? Because they're also asking about, is this a valuable field to get into?
One, yes, you can always get into the analytics field. And the biggest thing that I think also Brian has mentioned is value. And you can show value from anywhere. Actually, for me, my first role immediately after school, I went in as an IT support engineer. But then I loved data then. I still love data. And what I did was over and above the IT role that got me into the organization, I used to give a lot of data value. So if you're in finance, if you're in marketing, wherever you are in an organization, everyone uses data. So for me, my advice would be one, get upskilling meaning either learn how to use Power BI, learn how to use Tableau. If your organization is using Data Studio, learn how to use that. Or even Excel. Excel is still fairly powerful. Well, that depends on who you're asking, but yes, Excel is still fairly powerful. Then the other thing that you need to understand how to work with is SQL. And thank God for ChatGPT, thank God for Copilot. You can just Google, I want a script that does this and this and this, and you learn slowly on the go. Learning right now is different from, I'm not that old, but from how we were learning a while back. But then, so yes, get your SQL skills in the bag, get your Excel skills, Power BI, and Tableau skills in, then show value from where you are. Because it depends, okay, every company has a different way of structuring their data team. It can be that data is decentralized, meaning that every department has their own analysts. And it can also be that everything has been centralized in such a way that everything happens from one department. Like in our case, we have a CDO, Chief Data Office, where all data comes in. We have a warehouse, a data warehouse, and now everything goes in from that warehouse, meaning that we are having a single source of truth. Yeah. But that notwithstanding, there are also companies that use a federated model, which means that they have, yes, the centralized data, but they're also having different analysts in the different departments who are using that centralized data. So my advice to you who wants to move into the analytics field is start from where you are. You're working in marketing, you're working in finance, you can start from there. So let's say in marketing, you can start analyzing their data. Like we sent out this marketing I don't want to call them things. We marketed this brand or this brand last week. So you want to start thinking about the metrics that can help in decision making. How many people did it reach? How many people interacted with the product? How many people interacted with the post that was posted by maybe an influencer that we're using? And how can we reach out to more people? How can we scope our target market? Did we only reach out to people who are of a certain age? And can we also reach out to people of a different age set, given that maybe the older they get, the more the money they have to spare for some products? So show value where you are. And from there, it can only get better because now, once you show value, let's say in your marketing department, in your finance department, when you're looking for your next job, you already have experience. You can say, I was doing the analysis for my marketing team. These are the metrics I was monitoring. Based on what I did, I was able to improve the revenue of our marketing team, or were able to increase our customer base for the marketing team because of this analytics. So the beauty of analytics is also that you can always measure analytics. You can always measure the product of your work. Like I did this and I can, well, somehow attribute it to this growth. Yeah. So yes, start from where you are.
Okay, thank you. Billy,
And
from
Rehan,
your...
sorry,
Please.
just wanted to interject, to just add on to what you said. And I think there's also this element of continuous learning, yeah? I think people need to know that this is not one of those careers where you just do a course and then you feel like you're ready, yeah? Actually, even the time that we were starting to learn this data science, like it wasn't as established as it is right now. But at the same time, you get to see, for example, like in finance, we have CPA, like any CPA, CPA is CPA, ACCA is ACCA, but different data science courses have different content, yeah? different data analysis courses the same. So people just need to know that you need to always be on top of your feet, like just make sure that you have that eagerness to learn, yeah. And because you can't, for example, you can't simply do a course on Power BI and then think that you're an expert, yeah. Like the visualizations within Power BI is just a tip of the iceberg. People don't know that Power BI has programming languages like DAX and M that you can actually leverage to get better insights. You know, if you know Python, doesn't mean that you just stick to where you are. You know, you need to keep on evolving. And then as you get your jobs, you will notice that again, because of the high variability within different organizations, you'll get to see that, okay, people are using different tech stacks, yeah, the different technologies. So you need to be able to quickly adapt to whatever your current organization or the future organizations want to work in. You also need to be able to adapt to whatever they're using. Don't be stuck up on, let's say, Power BI when another organization uses Tableau, or yeah, or if it's SQL, you need like SQL. I think it's something that you just need to keep on learning and learning and learning. You need to advance your skills in that particular area, whatever area it is. Just know that you should be ready to learn for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian,
just to add on.
No, sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, maybe just to add on what Brian and Jeda said. So what I think ideally, when you're coming from a different industry, domain knowledge is quite important for data analyst. Yeah. In fact, it's probably one of the critical skills as opposed to the technical. Technical is something that it's more of a tool set perspective. So you're a data analyst, let's say in the financial sector. What's important to the business is that you understand the business. Yeah. So domain knowledge becomes critical. In terms of the tooling, it's more about how do we increase the efficiency of decision making. So a data analyst, the most critical value is speed of an analysis. Yeah. So how faster can they take business from what happened to insights so that they can make decisions off of it. Yeah. So it's important to leverage that domain knowledge, whether you're coming from hospitality, whether you're coming from finance, whether it's banking. Start building off your skills on the tool set to speed up your time to insights, yeah, to speed up how quickly you can deliver insights to business. And there are a couple of many areas you'll see in most businesses as value areas. So for example, you'll find a business who are largely using Excel. Reports are sent via Excel through email. You could ideally think of a solutions that you could streamline a whole dashboard that doesn't require business users to continuously share Excels across the organizations. So that's a critical point of value that can really set yourself apart. It can set you apart from the rest of the team. So you want to make sure you identify areas of problems within the business. For example, it could be the time to insights takes so long. It could be we don't have visibility to some critical KPIs that we need to discover in this particular business. It could be maybe we're not using important critical tool sets within the team to do our analysis of. So these are critical point of value that you can recommend to business and even do the groundwork and build these dashboards and even talk to the decision makers and say this is what we could be able to do. Instead of you waiting for a report for a whole week, I could be able to build a dashboards that refreshes in real time, and you'll be able to get the reports as needed in the required time. So that's where I see most of the people who have shifted as well have leveraged on this particular key points just to shift industries, because you will move from financing, you'll move from banking, you'll move to hospitality. At every role, you'll be required to learn. Yeah. So this is something I've seen in my experience. I've worked with Brian at the central bank, and one of our requirements was to understand the entire work mechanisms of the central bank, how the central bank works, how the financial system works, so that we can be able to build proper dashboards for all the teams within the central bank to be able to leverage insights of the dashboards and the data they have. Yeah.
Billy and Brian, thank you so much, because I think it's quite important that what you mentioned about continuous learning, right? Once you've learned the skills, it doesn't stop there. As a data analyst, continuous learning will impact how you work, what you give out as value to the organization and company where you are will continue to keep on going, and you have to keep on doing continuous learning. And of course, domain knowledge, Billy, that was quite insightful. Even I had not thought about it as a marketer myself. Using the data, how do you use domain knowledge within my field of education and learning? And as a marketer, how do I leverage that? I guess coming back from there, and what you both mentioned, and also from Jadida, who is within the financial and the banking sector, right? There's a question that keeps on coming up quite a lot. What industries, what sectors would data analysts be, according to the three of you, be the most lucrative to go into if our attendees, if other Kenyans out there who are interested in the data analyst field want to go into? If they're getting training to go into this, which field should they go into as data analysts? What's the most lucrative in Kenya, in East Africa? Your personal take on it from your personal journeys within the career.
Lucrative in terms of money or in terms of growth? I don't know. Because for me, I go, like right now, if I'm looking for a job, I'm chasing after two things. Either I'm going to learn or to earn. So if it's about being in a lucrative environment, I'd look at it in those two folds. So am I going there to learn? Can be lucrative because maybe I'm coming from a very traditional setup, and I want to work for a startup because I know startups are using probably the most recent technologies. I'm going to learn how to use AWS. We don't have maybe a money issue. I can be able to learn a tool like Informatica for data integration and stuff like that. So it depends, but I believe it's more about money at the end of the day. So if it's about money, well, depends also. But I'd say with startups, you can learn and earn. But then about earning, there's a lot to unpack, honestly, about earning. Because I can be working at a startup, I'm earning, let's say, 400,000 Kenya shillings. And the other thing they're adding me on top of salary is a medical cover. But if I'm working for the government, let's say KRA, maybe they'll be paying me 200,000 Kenya shillings. They will be, I have medical cover. They are providing me with a mortgage of 3%. 3% is huge because currently I think the market price is like at 12. That's 4 times more. They might be providing me with trainings, let's say with Informatica or Prince for project management, something that if you're paying out of pocket goes for like 150,000 Kenya shillings. So in terms of earning, monetary, you just need to do your math and see what works for you. If you just want the cash, or you want cash plus other benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just go next. How I think of it, thanks for highlighting that, Jadida. It's good to go where you earn and you learn. That's important as a critical foundation. Now, when I think of lucrative, there are two sets of industries. There's the mature industries and industries that haven't really matured. Yeah. So when you talk about mature industries, of course, there are opportunity where there's a lot of data. So you're talking about finance, insurance. Yeah. So there are industries where there's already a lot of data collected. Yeah. Then of course there is industries, for example, manufacturing, let's say hospitality. Yeah. Now you first of all, when choosing a career, you want to look at the industries and how the industries have matured. So based on your choice, do you want to be, for example, working with an already mature company where maybe the tool sets are also mature? You're looking at modern tooling. You're looking at streamlined teams. You're looking at better sort of role scoping. For example, you could go to a startup and do the work of a data scientist, data engineer, and a machine learning engineer, and everyone else. Yeah. So startups essentially, and it's a good place to learn. I like startups because when you're starting up, it's a good place to learn because you're exposed to a lot of skills, which means in your next role, then you'll be very versatile. And that increases your lucrative capability. So remember, the most important thing you want to optimize for is leverage. So leverage is a function of skills that you have, the industries you're exposed to, and also there's an important component of mentors and people you know within the industry. Yeah. Because that also gives you a positioning capability. Like, may know Jedida, if I want to get into banking, Jedida can help me sort of how I can strategize to get into the banking industry. Yeah. Brian can help me how to strategize to get into for-profit sort of industry. So look, it's good to focus on where you earn and you learn, but of importance, look at comparative skills across the different industries. So mature industries, they are fairly sort of, they're utilizing large vendor tools, for example, Power BI, Google, Oracle Analytics. So if you want to learn in that particular scope, you can get there. On startups, you'll get open source tooling. For example, you'll meet, you for example, be using DTB, you'll be using Prefect, you'll be using open source tooling. Now that gives you different angles of learning, which both are relevant. There's none that's not relevant. What's important is you're building a toolset and skilling that gives you leverage as you near sort of your next job. When you talk about impact, it's good to go to an organization that's not really matured yet, because the potential of impact that you can take to that organization is high. Yeah. So for example, I work at Oracle if I work at Oracle as a data analyst. Oracle is a fairly mature tech company. Yeah. When I look at the things I can do, I'll probably do less of impact. Yeah, because most of the things are automated and stuff. But if I go to an organization that's not really that mature, there's the potential of me taking that organization from 0 to 100% on analytics usage. So you want to focus on that. Then that becomes your stepping stone to move, let's say, to an even more lucrative career. So the approach that I'm taking is I want to be in a position where I'm learning, building skills, so that it gives me leverage to get into further lucrative sort of position. It's the quickest way to move into senior level. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I'd like to take a different angle. So I think back when I was just about to finish university, sorry, one of my friends challenged me to not only think of the job that you want, but think of the company that you want to work for. Yeah. And for me at that time, it was World Bank. And I was like, wow, okay, I don't know how I'll get there. But I think that was the trigger to everything. Like I'm glad when I look back, I've worked in banking sector. So I just thought maybe World Bank is a bank, so maybe I need some banking experience. But I think even in terms of impact, I think when we talk about lucrative, like I think it goes so much more than just money. You need to. Are you satisfied with your job? Like, do you hate Mondays? Do you, all these things, they have a big impact to play in your life. You might be earning quite a lot of money, but you have no social life. Yeah. So I think what I would highly encourage people is like make sure that you as Billy said, yeah, whatever organization that you're gonna work for, make sure you're like the best of the best at what you currently do. Yeah. So in terms of analysis, like even me where I am, I really just try to learn and learn and learn and learn. I want to be the best version of myself in what I'm currently doing. And I think with time, you'll get to see that your work speaks for itself, yeah, based on even some of the things that you would want to write in your CV, like all these things. You just need to be very good at what you do, and the common like what is common in all these whether it's lucrative or not, is the skills you have, your ability to learn. And as soon as you have that, you'll be able to quickly adapt to any organization, any role. And that is why, like, that is basically what will try to propel you to lucrativeness or prosperity. Yeah, don't be in such a hurry to like, I don't know, and whatever kind of money, like it's not a linear, it's usually exponential. Or I don't know. Okay, let me say, in my case, it was so many years of initial learning, so much knowledge. I think I remember even with Billy, when we were starting our careers, we even did AI, deep learning, all these things that people are talking about now. We did so many years, but it wasn't relevant for the African economy just yet. Yeah. So we had to adapt to see, okay, what do people really need? And we took a lot of learning, so many years of that, and probably that's why it pays off later. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for this. I mean, straight from starting from Jadida's earn and learn, which actually blew my mind because I hadn't actually even thought about this. To Billy's, insights, and coming back to Brian yours, this has been really helpful, and I know this has been helpful for our attendees on understanding how they can take their career journey, whether it's a mature sector or a startup. And coming back to you, Brian, what that you need to do, you need to keep on learning continuously, to make sure that you can build yourself up as a data analyst. So guys, thank you so much for those insights. Even like as I mentioned, even I had not thought about it, and I'm sure it was quite valuable to our attendees. So we've got a question here, which Brian, I would like to pose this to you, by the way. It's quite interesting. Is data analytics all about business? Where else can data analytics apply? 'Cause the reason I've posed this to you is because you're here at Sanku, and I thought it would be an interesting one to get your insight on this. Is data analytics all about business, and where else can data analytics apply?
Okay, thank you. But they have been fortunate to work for so many companies, and okay, but even regardless, like just all the possible projects that people as that like data analysts do, like they vary quite widely. Yeah. A long time ago, basically some of these roles were just general. Yeah, you're just a data scientist, you're just a data analyst. But these days, okay, I don't know if people are alert. Sometimes you see they, like, even in the job description, they say, okay, data analyst, marketing, data analyst, product, data analyst, sales. Actually, for the last couple of years, I also branded myself as a marketing data scientist, yeah, data analyst, because that was what I was ideally passionate about. Yeah, you get to see health data analyst. Yeah, so I think it's not just for business, and that's why initially I talked about domain knowledge, not just the business knowledge, like any domain that you're working in. Like, even sometimes I get these questions, and someone asks me, even at a restaurant or a club, how can I explain data science to them? So I give them examples of how, if they would be collecting certain data in that in that restaurant, or in, I don't know, hospitality or tourism, how it would be beneficial for them. So I believe that, yes, the skills usually remain the same, but it can be applied literally everywhere. Yeah, I think almost. I don't know if there are any companies that don't have data analysts. Yeah, can be applied in marketing, supply chain, manufacturing. Like, we just need to understand what's going on in the business, or even in the health sector, and try to make meaning out of that, so that you drive whatever your goal is forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. we've got another question here, and this is about AI. And we've been getting a lot of questions around AI, and it's all about what's the impact of AI, what's the impact of machine learning on the field of data analysis. Questions around, is it possible that we can use AI to analyze data? Will AI take my job away? There's those kind of questions. And how do we use AI? Will AI take my job away? What's the impact of AI? And will this be lasting in the next 5 to 10 years? Over to you guys.
Yeah, I'll probably take a start on that. So when I think of AI, AI will definitely sort of have an impact on the data analyst role. How I think of it as a techno optimist is the role of the data analyst will sort of be enhanced in a way. Yeah. Of course, towards the future, most of the routine tasks will be automated. So talk of data cleaning, talk of, for example, data preparation, moving sort of the whole data pipeline stuff will all be automated in a sense. So what's important is to know the the critical value areas for business. So things like stakeholder management, being able to have domain understanding for multiple sectors will continue to be relevant. What we see, for example, what we see in most of the analytics tooling. So for example, Google launched their Gemini. Gemini has an advanced analysis component where you just drop an Excel sheet and you ask it a couple of questions. It's able to do descriptive analysis for you. It can even go and build, help you import sklearn and do a bit of predictive analytics for you. Yeah. Now there's that side of driving efficiency to the data analyst role. So what we see, there's a common quote that moves around that says, a traditional data analyst will only be replaced by data analyst who is augmenting AI. So augmenting in the sense that I'm a data analyst who uses AI on a day-to-day basis. So for example, I want to speed up my work. Let's say there's a query I don't know. I want to make my SQL query efficient. I'll just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Cohere or whatever large language model platforms that are there. Helps me come up with a very efficient query, then I can test it out. Make sure it's, of course, fairly secure and it's good, operating the parameters of ethics and deploy it, for example, for business. So if you think about the time to insights, we'll see a lot of the time to insights will be shrunk because now AI gives us a lot of leverage in terms of speeding up insights and analytics. For analysts who are in the what I would like to refer to as data analyst 1.0. Now, these are analysts who are majorly on the side of cleaning, building dashboards, but they're not interested in the business side of things. You can be sure you'll be there's a risk of you being sort of automated out of the industry. So there's the importance of moving over, getting a full understanding of what the business does, have good grasp of domain, so that you can be able, at least you want to be in touch with the decision makers, so that you can be like more of a, think of it as the brain of the decision makers. When they want to make the decision, they come to you for that decision because you have a proper understanding of the business. There's still a lot of work, maybe potentially in the future, if they hack the whole data quality stuff. Data quality is quite a messy problem. It's still there in generative AI. So there's still a lot more work to be done. Not 90% will be replaced. I would say, for example, 40%. The rest of the 60 will probably morph up and move into more enhanced data analyst, what we refer in the industry as augmented data analyst. And that's sort of the focus point now within the industry. Yeah.
Billy, thank you. Brian?
Oh no, just wanted to mention that I think maybe another effect is basically it will, like, because of AI, there'll be a lot of democratization of data science, yeah? So you don't have to have those 2 too much technical skills in order to do some basic analysis, yeah. And that will be something that I guess we have to now accept. More and more people will be able to do data analysis easily. I think also, as Billy has mentioned, outside some of the automation that will be done on the data cleaning and all these things, because those tasks have now become relatively easier, it creates or it gives space for the data analyst now to learn more advanced skills. I'm not saying you'll be more advanced than the AI, but you will have more technical knowledge. And I think now this will eventually lead to blurring the lines between data science and data analysis, because data science is actually slightly advanced, and now because the lines are becoming more blurry, it will now like basically analysts will have to step up. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think I'll address the elephant in the room when it comes to AI, because I think the biggest fear is that you're going to be replaced by AI. So there's a phrase that goes around, or rather a friend of mine and myself share is, and I think Billy touched on it, is that AI is not here to replace you, but a person who uses AI will. Meaning that your role is to always keep learning, something that has been mentioned already. Learn, improve your learning. And when you improve your learning, and for you to also even get time to improve your learning is by automating some of the things that are mundane and that AI can help you with. For example, optimizing a query. Probably before you take like 5 days just thinking about the query, sleeping, and I'm like, this query, need to fix it. But right now you can just put it on Copilot, put it on ChatGPT, and you get results faster. And that gives you time to focus on other things like improving on yourself. Understanding AI, understanding data science, and now that the cloud is here and some companies are moving towards the cloud, also just trying to understand what the cloud is about and how you can have more impact as an analyst or now a cloud practitioner on how to better manage your tasks in the cloud. So yeah, I think for me the biggest thing is with AI, try and make it work for you as an analyst. And also on concerns on AI replacing analysts or anyone at their jobs, I think data governance is the key to responsible AI, because the biggest worry is like robots doing our jobs. And I think with good governance and good data governance, we're going to have responsible AI. Thanks.
Jadida, thank you very much, because I think what you've just mentioned heavily goes into if what Billy had touched on earlier. If data analysts now want to become data analyst version 2.0, right? They not only do they use AI, but they have to become comfortable and conversant with AI tools and technologies, so they can actually, leveraging AI, become better than what they were before, and cut down on the time, get insights and interpretations much quicker. With, like you said, was taking 5 days, would take much quicker. But I've got a little question for you here, right? AI, large language models, LLMs are all leveraging the data that's available right now. But even if data analysts are using tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, Google Gemini, they still have to check that work, correct? To make sure everything is kabisa okay before making their interpretations and giving it to the senior stakeholders. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, by the way, that's one of the things I wanted to add, is that you still need to be the experts. Yeah, you still need be like you're coming with all this business knowledge, technical knowledge, and sometimes, of course, I think Billy mentioned some of these AI models hallucinate a lot. Yeah, do not do not assume that because I've done this course for 2 weeks and then now I have ChatGPT, I'll be able to do my job efficiently. You like just think of the AI LLMs like your apprentice, your intern, to do some of the tasks for you so that you become more efficient, but don't let it think for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think I'll just point out.
there are
Go
also
ahead,
ways.
go ahead.
There are also ways to search on ChatGPT and Copilot, and for you to be able to search the correct way, you need the domain knowledge to be able to get a solution. And probably it's going to be half-baked because sometimes they hallucinate. So yeah, domain knowledge I think goes a long way.
Yeah, what I'll probably add is also it's good to learn prompt engineering. I think that's a new skill. Probably every data analyst needs to put in their toolset. There'll be more domain-specific LLMs and large language models that will be created as foundational models in healthcare, in hospitality. So that's coming in the future. A lot of analytics tooling are now using Copilot chat. For example, now Microsoft Data Fabric has the Copilot chat on it. Oracle uses augmented analytics and chat capabilities. We now have as well Google Luca also has Gemini integrated on it, so that to be able at least to deliver chat capabilities to derive insights quickly. So it's good to learn prompting. I think that's a relevant skill. The better you prompt, the better the output. So it's more of garbage in, garbage out. It's good to remember of the risks as well. Ethics, we talk about ethics. This tooling have a lot of risks in them. Remember they're trained on internet data. You don't want just to copy and paste it and expose it to the business leaders. Yeah, you might expose yourself. So you want at least to do a bit of a counter checking before you submit anything to the business that is generated by these large language models. So that's important. As well, it's important to work within the ethics and governance framework, particularly within organizations. Most organizations really don't have direct use of LLMs. I think most organizations are restricting because you could take very critical company data to open source LLMs, and that's you're sort of putting the organization at risk. So it's important to think from that particular aspect of regulation, privacy, and not expose your organization critical information to these public models. Yeah.
Brian, Jadida, Billy, thank you so much for your time. I'm pretty sure that just like myself, our attendees have learned a lot from your valuable insights, from your career stories and your journeys within Data Analyst. Sadly, we are coming to the end of the webinar right now. So one of the several questions that we've been asked from our registrants and our attendees is how do I start my journey as a data analyst? And I'm happy to answer that question. So Pitman training offers a very robust and very all-rounded data analyst diploma for anyone who's looking to get into the field or would like to specialize and become proficient with the tools and techniques of data analysis, right? So with the data analyst diploma that we offer, there are 8 different courses in there. And the data analyst diploma is got CPD accreditation over there. The diploma takes about 200 hours or about 10 months max to complete. So we have both live tutor support and in-center senior learning coach, which can actually support you throughout the diploma. The 8 different courses that we have within the diploma are Excel Expert, Statistical Analysis, Python for data analysts, SQL for data analysts, R programming and statistical analysts, data visualization with Tableau or Power BI, project management for data analysts, and fundamentals of AI and machine learning. I would also like to thank all our panelists. Thank Asante Sana for your time and your insights, for the valuable time that you've given us. Thank you very much for this. I would also like to add, there's a question that came up across earlier about mentorship. So I would like to open this up to our attendees, that all the three of our panelists, Billy, Jadida, and Brian, are members of the Data Analyst community of Kenya and are open to take on to offer mentorship. You can reach out to them through LinkedIn. I will share their LinkedIn profiles to them to you with you on email post the webinar. And again, thank you very much for your time, dear attendees, for coming over. We will try to answer any questions that you dropped into the Q&A function through email. If you're interested in the data analyst training or any of the Pitman training programs that we offer, do reach out to us directly, and our career advisors will be happy to speak to you. Your feedback is very important to us. Kindly just click on the link that my colleague Nasir shared, and do give us your valuable feedback. Again, Brian, Jadida, and Billy, thank you so much for your time. Asante sana.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Rehan. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thanks.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. See you.